Hey everyone. So hopefully it's not gonna be too windy. It keeps gusting little winds out here, but I'm gonna try to film this anyways. I'm just out here with the dogs. And I don't know if I caught Shasta on. And with the goats. We're just all out here just sitting. Let's see if I can get, hopefully I'm not making everybody too dizzy. Show the baby goats there. So today I wanted to do a little video kind of explaining medical alerts from the dogs. Higgins is a multi-purpose service dog, so he does a lot of different type of work for me. But one of the things that he does, and what I consider one of his most valuable things that he does for me, is medical alerts. And I just wanted to explain that a little more. A lot of people don't understand what that can look like. It can look different for different conditions. A lot of mine are... What do you see, Pistol? You stay, you're fine. I heard somebody up at the houses. So a lot of mine are brain injury related. There's a lot of other stuff going on with me. I don't really want to get into my medical information, but something that a lot of people don't seem to understand with the medical alerts that I just want to talk about. They're not always an immediate, let's see if I can turn to get him in there. They're not always an immediate thing. That's the whole point of having the alert, is that it gives you time. Oh, here comes the wind. Hopefully it's not going to be noisy in the microphone on the phone. But so a lot of people seem to think that when I get an alert, do I need to immediately do something? Sometimes yes, sometimes no, depending on what the alert is. So he does 4 different types of alerts for me, and he also does some of those 4 different types are early alerts, and like what I say is immediate alerts. So like whatever's going down is happening within like 10 to 20 minutes. Higgins, come here. You gotta come lay down. So you might see the wrap on his foot. He hurt his foot this morning, so he's gotta stay low key, and he's not real pleased that he can't go run rabbits. So I gotta keep an eye on him. He's gotta stay here. So here comes more wind. But hopefully you can keep hearing me through it. Oh, might be gust there. Let's see if I put my hand around it, if that'll help. We'll have to see when replaying it. I won't know until then, so hopefully you guys can still hear me. But I'm a bit rambly this video, so it's going to be a little bit long. I'm easily distracted. As you can see, he's not regarding that his injured foot is very injured, but it is enough to restrict his movement. He just doesn't realize it. He's pretty tough. But yeah, so some of the alerts that he does lets me know ahead of time. His longest one is a 3-day ahead of time alert. And I know this because I track these things, and that's how I found out about that, and it's very consistent. And that's a particular one. That's his longest ahead of time one, and a lot of people might not understand the benefit in that, and I just wanted to talk about that a little bit today. That one particular is very helpful, because if I know 3 days ahead of time and he's really precise. So like what time of day he gives the alert, it usually is that time of day 3 days later. So very, very consistent, and that allows me to plan out for 3 days in advance. Like if I have something that I'm supposed to be at that time, or like if I'm supposed to deal with going to an appointment or meeting someone or whatever, that's 3 days in advance that I can know, and I can cancel that if I need to. So that is very helpful, because then I can plan for what's going on. And then on that particular alert, he'll also let me know, he'll do another alert when that is starting, as well as the 3 days ahead of time. And he'll do an alert within about, usually his it's happening now ones are within 10 to 20 minutes before the event. So that's of course really helpful for me to know and get to where I'm can be safe during that. And like for those ones, it's a lot of I need to be laying down and really not moving much, because it aggravates it. So it's very helpful. There goes the wind again. So that's just one of his alerts, one type that is very helpful for me. And then he does alerts about, again, most of his alerts are like, when he alerts, I've got about 15 minutes or so anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, depending on what it is and the stimuli around me. Like, for example, he does what I call a cognitive alert, when my brain's gonna not be working well. And that one, the distance between the alert and the event can either be up to about 20 minutes at the longest, or it can kind of move it up depending on what's going on around me. So if there's something that's aggravating it, so like fluorescent lights for an example, or a lot of commotion going on, or if I'm needing to focus my brain a bunch, those are things that will kind of aggravate it, so that'll make it happen sooner. So that's why sometimes when he gives me an alert for it, I can be like, oh, okay, I can finish what I'm doing before this hits, versus other times when he gives me the alert, depending on the environment, I have to be like, okay, I have to immediately stop what I'm doing. So that's how that's beneficial. That's how you might see people with alert dogs, where some people might have to immediately stop what they're doing and leave or do something with their dog, but other people might not. And it seems like people seem to not understand that part of it. Seems like people understand when a dog alerts and there's an immediate response afterwards. But for me, the benefit of the alert a lot of times is the ones that are farther ahead, because it gives me time, especially if I can have time to finish what I'm doing. That's very helpful for me. So that's what I train for, is that longer time for the alert. Hi, Shasta. You good girl. Want to get on the camera? Probably don't. Hi, girl. Yeah, you're a good girl. She just turned 10 yesterday. Enjoying the retired life. So that's how a lot of people don't understand that. Other handlers or myself, when Higgins is out with me, and there might be other videos where it's captured, and I've had people not understand and bring up other handlers they've seen the similar thing of, where they're like, hey, your dog is alerting, but you're not doing anything about it, so you must not need the dog, is what people say. And that's just not true. You don't know what's going on with the person. A lot of times, for another example of a different point of view or a different angle to all this, a lot of times certain ones of my cognitive bouts or whatever you want to call them, cognitive issues, if I'm not directly engaging with you, you might not notice them. I notice them and I struggle with them, but an outsider that doesn't, see inside what's going on and doesn't see the struggle might not even realize that I have an issue going on. So you can't really say, oh, the dog alerted it and the person did nothing about it. You don't know what's going on, really, is what kind of it boils down to. And then there's that other point that I was speaking of where there's some of the alerts, I'll get the alert and I know I have a set amount of time in that particular environment. So it's like, okay, I can finish getting one more item in the store, or I can finish the conversation I'm in before I have to go deal with this. And I just wanted to clarify that and talk about how that is extremely valuable, and how that is a reality. It's not that we're ignoring the dog, or I guess I should speak for myself personally. It's not that I'm ignoring him, I acknowledge his alerts, I reward him for it, and I act accordingly. Sometimes I need him to do something right away, like sometimes I'll need him to do pressure to give me some time. That's another variable, is certain alerts, like one of his other alerts is a mobility alert, so he'll let me know when my mobility is going to go out, when I'm not going to be able to walk, or I'm going to be dizzy and really tippy. And with that particular alert, it's really interesting because if I catch it early and I sit down before my legs go out, and I sit down and I have him do pressure sometimes that's what I need. It depends on the situation what I need. But sometimes, for an example, Higgins, hang on a second. Higgins, come here. Higgins. Oh, you had to pee. Okay. He has to pee. Good boy. Come on. You gotta come lay down. Do you want to lay down there in the shade? Okay, lay down there. That's fine. You have to lay down though. You'll wander off if I don't have you lay down. Down. You're making me repeat myself, or I'm just repeating myself. Bad habit of mine. Good boy. Yeah, he's used to, oh, you're making noises there, huh? He wants to go run rabbits, but he cannot. Now I gotta remember what I was saying. Mobility alerts, that's right. So, sometimes if I can, like an example is if I'm in a store that has a lot of fluorescent lights or like computer type stuff, that's really taxing on my system. So sometimes if I get a mobility alert and I'm in a situation that's taxing on my system, or even if I'm not actually, but let's go with the scenario of if I'm in a store, I might be able to get an extra 10 minutes out of being in the store if I sit down and do some pressure with him for a few minutes. That might give me enough to finish what I need to do in that store and then leave and go out to the vehicle before my legs are going to go out of me. And that doesn't always work that way, and he will let me know. With the mobility, he'll repeat it if it's going to happen soon. Like if I don't have time to do something like that, he'll just repeat the alert multiple times if it's going to happen immediately, and that lets me know that I don't have time to do that. I can't push it off basically by my response to it. But the point being is sometimes I can, and only he and I really know all that system and how to navigate it. And so someone looking in at that, it may not make sense all the time. It may not look like, he's doing a good job, or that what he's doing is really important. But it is very important to me, and it definitely gives me a lot more freedom to do different things and do things safely. Since I'm talking about all his different alerts, I'm just gonna throw in there the last of the there's, like I said, there's 4. And I talked about the one where he'll alert early. I call that my lymph flare because we thought it was related to migraine, but we've found out kind of that we think it's more of like a lymph system backing up. And that's the one that he will alert days ahead of time, so that's pretty neat. Because I can take, when he alerts on that one, we've discovered I can take some tinctures of herbs that help with drainage, and that will help the round pass with less pain, so that's a big deal to me. And then and I talked about the cognitive alert, or when my brain's not going to work well, and that has many different types to it, but I don't really want to go into that right now because that's going to be a whole thing in itself to explain. There's a lot of different things that go on when my brain is overloaded, or it's having difficulty functioning in one way or another. And then I talked about the mobility alert, where my legs will go out or I'll get really tippy. And then the last one that he does, the last type of alert that he does, is he'll let me know when my system is getting overwhelmed, where I can't handle any more input. I used to categorize that as like a anger alert, but I've discovered that it's actually more of an overwhelm. So if my system gets like that to where it can't handle any more input, if there's more input, if I need to pay attention to something or do something, or if I'm trying to function essentially and do more, I'll get really angry. And I've discovered that through his alerts, that if he alerts like that, and I just really be careful to be mindful, which is actually why I use these silicone rings. I have some here too. I use them to remind me what alerts I have running. I don't remember things always, so that's to remind me. And if I keep looking at that and remembering, oh yeah, I can't get into doing something right now because it'll be too much for me. And that helps me to really curb the anger a lot of times, because I know that I have potential to get angry, so I'm more careful. And be more careful to disengage when I feel that anger coming up. So those are things, especially like that. That's a good example. The overwhelm one, that is an alert that's really beneficial to me. But if you saw that alert go on from an outside standpoint, if I was out and about and as a stranger you saw that alert, you would assume that that was not something helpful, or that was just I wasn't listening to the dog, or this or that, or that the dog was not valuable in that alert or something, because that's not something visual that you're going to see. If I'm working well and managing it well and curbing it, you're just going to see a dog alert a person, and you're going to see the person kind of be distant to things and not really engage in the surroundings, and that's not going to really look like a response to an alert from an outside standpoint. But there's a lot going on the inside that you don't see. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I hope this wasn't too long. I hope people will watch it and learn. I hope people bring questions. I do really like questions in a respectful manner. I hope this came out with all the wind. It was just too nice not to be outside. And I did want to film this while I was thinking about it, but I wasn't willing to not be out here, so it kind of is what it is, and I hope it worked out. I hope that it was helpful to you. I know this is a subject that is really not fully understood, and I feel like there maybe is not enough information out there on it, so that's why I chose to do this video. Definitely, if you have any questions, please ask them below, and I'll either answer them in a comment, or if it's too long to answer in a comment, I'll answer it in another video. But yeah, hopefully it was helpful for you. I'll give you another look at my goats before I go. There they are. They're all starting to, sorry if I get them all in there, they're all starting to bed down because they're nice and full from out here browsing on everything, so they're all gonna settling down to take a nap now, which is my cue to take them back, put them away, let them sit there and ruminate and chew their cud while I go and get some lunch. And looks like Pistol is sleeping, Higgins is wishing that he was chasing a rabbit, and Shasta is put herself on guard duty from the back. Alright, well, that's all I got for you today. Hopefully it was helpful. We'll see you later.